Paige.
And I'm Brittany.
And we're mother-daughter, and we're looking to relocate from the United States, and we are traveling around trying to get a feel of different places where we might like and where we might be able to relocate. And we're going to talk today about our recent trip to Chiang Mai, Thailand.
And first thing I'm going to say is you want to physically watch your step. Basically, I don't know what it is. I need to look up why they do this. I don't know if it's just cultural. There are little steps into like the bathroom or the bedroom or your hotel room. And it's and more than it's a step, it's a really small step.
They're like maybe a half inch.
Yes, about this size. And it's very easy to almost trip on them. I almost tripped as soon as I got into the bathroom at the airport, and they are all over Thailand. They seem everywhere. They're at the malls, and you just want to kind of keep an eye on that. I guess.
No, this is a thing, and no walking around with your head in the clouds.
Yes. And I guess if you're used to that, you don't have to do it on autopilot. But being that we've never had these little steps, and again, I found it like harder to notice than a big step. Like I would notice that, so be aware of that.
Well, speaking of bathrooms, I will talk about bathrooms. This was our first time going to a country where you could not flush the toilet paper. And I was truly a little intimidated by that. I mean, maybe it's silly to people who've grown up living in a place where you can't flush the toilet paper, but never having traveled to that kind of country before, I was like just a little nervous how I was going to handle it all. First thing I'll say, I think overall it was easier than I expected. Honestly, once I got used to it, it really wasn't a big deal, really at all. A couple of things. One is they have this bum gun, and a lot of people are going to know what that is already, but in case you don't, it's basically a hose. And you use it to clear off any excesses that would not be, we'll say, extra smelling on toilet paper. And it did take me a minute to get used to it. I won't even mince words because, directing it so it doesn't splatter too much. This is getting really probably a bit too involved.
I found it helpful to be mentally prepared for it.
Yeah, but at any rate, once I got used to it, it's actually, if you think about it, really hygienic. But it really wasn't that hard to use. And every bathroom will have like a little covered trash can that you step on, and it opens, and you just put your toilet paper in that trash can. And I will confess, I did on autopilot. Speaking of autopilot, one time I did put some toilet paper in the toilet, and luckily it didn't cause any problems. And it only took once, and it's so funny because I told Brittany over and over again, don't just flush your toilet paper, you're so used to it, and then I didn't. But not a big deal if you go. It's probably going to be more of a adjustment in your mind than it is in reality, and I at least was surprised how quickly I did kind of adjust to doing it almost on autopilot. Yeah. This is important too though. If you go, travel with some tissue and some hand sanitizer. And the thing is, I would say probably 90% of the bathrooms we used had toilet paper and soap and places to dry your hands and things. But the times that it didn't, I was so thankful that I had it. I just got some of those like Kleenex travel tissues that they sell a lot. And I brought 2 of them, and I just carried it in my little waist pack that I carried with me with some hand sanitizer. And when we did end up needing it, oh my gosh, I was so glad I had it. So that's another thing on the bathroom.
I was like, oh, Mom.
Okay, so enough bathroom talk for now.
One thing we really liked about Thailand was the massages. They really are that good, and they're very affordable. So we got, how many massages did we get?
We got 3?
No, we got 4 because we got the scalp massage at our hotel, and then we got a Thai massage where they stretch you, and then we got 2 regular massages. And honestly, I think I work out a lot. I release too much lactic acid by the end of my 4 massages, and am on a massage break right now. But they were so good. So I had about 2 massages a week while I was there. And, you know, I know it's kind of known for that, but it's known for that for a reason.
I would say I knew, I'd heard about the affordable and good massages, but it exceeded expectations on both fronts. It was more affordable than I expected, and then they were also better. I've also heard that massage has a cultural significance with the Buddhist faith that they practice in Thailand, and I believe it because those massages were so good.
I know.
So yeah, if you like massages, definitely a place to go for sure.
Yes. But also, if you exercise a lot, maybe don't get too many too close together, because then you might make yourself a little bit sick from releasing too many toxins.
That's true too. It's really because they're so affordable. Like, you know, you can get massages and really good ones in U.S. dollars. You know, $10. I would say.
Yeah.
And to maybe what was the top end for a long one, maybe $30, $40.
Yeah.
So anyway, we really enjoyed that. And let's see, I'm looking at the notes we have. Oh, food. I'll talk about food. I love food. Food was really good too. That was another thing that exceeded expectations. I'd heard a lot about the really good food in Thailand, and that did not disappoint. And I am not a person who really likes Asian food normally. Like,
I like Asian food.
I'm never going to pick an Asian restaurant in the United States if I'm going out to eat at a restaurant or anything like that. But I loved the food. It was really good. The produce, for one thing, was excellent, and also, if you're coming on U.S. dollars, affordable. And then I do know, you know, if you live there, if you're not earning a U.S. currency, it's a whole different ball game. But the produce was really affordable and really good quality, which was fantastic. And really, I'd say everything we ate. We did only go out to eat one time, and you really liked yours.
Well, I didn't like my salad that much. It was fine, but it wasn't wow worthy. I got some pistachio flavored tuna, and that was really good, and you could really taste the pistachio flavor. So
I got a pizza, and I'm not saying there might not be great pizza in Thailand, but I did not really like my pizza. I won't play. But we did do the hotel breakfast, and we're going to make a different video about hotels because we stayed at 3 different hotels during our time there, and they were all of different price points. But one thing they all had in common is they all had really good hotel breakfast. They would have rice, they would have local dishes, they would have, you know, eggs. Most of them had someone, you know, you could get eggs made to order, lots of fruit, just absolutely yummy hotel breakfast. And when we went shopping at the grocery stores, we thought everything we got was really good.
And then I will say a con is there is limited walkability. On the upside, there's very affordable, at least in US dollars, grab and bolts. But we tried to walk to this grocery store one time, and I accidentally put in the wrong address for a hospital, and we started running up against there being no sidewalk and like the scooters coming really fast at us, and we just wouldn't feel safe walking there. Like, not that we felt like about to be a victim of crime or something, but logistically not safe in terms of, you know, traffic and yielding to pedestrians. And so I would just take grab or bolt everywhere.
I'm gonna say it depends. Not everywhere. I mean, we didn't take it everywhere.
Maybe unless it's really close.
I would say, I think it's kind of a mixed bag. If you're going to go any distance, and depending, we'll talk in a minute about these temples we went to see that were kind of up the mountain, and you just couldn't walk there pretty much no matter what. I mean, somebody could, and somebody probably has and does, but most people wouldn't. But if everywhere we stayed, there were coffee shops you could walk to. One place we stayed was really close to this mall, and it was they had sidewalk all the way between the hotel and the mall. And then we stayed in the Old Town area at one point, and there was also sidewalks. So I'm not going to say it wasn't walkable, but I would say limited walkability. And I mean, that is a big difference between, you know, like no walkability. I mean, you could walk and get a coffee. You could walk and get, if you couldn't make it to a full grocery store, you could probably make it to a convenience store or something like that. And depending on where you were, you might could walk to a lot of things. But it didn't have, there was no public transportation. Honestly, there were some bus stops.
Yeah, there were some bus stops.
But we never really figured out or saw a bus. And They also have these red trucks that are basically like kind of, I think, public taxis, and you sort of ride in the back and they have a group of people. And I think that's even more affordable than like a Bolt or a Grab. So I think they kind of function as more or less a de facto public transportation. But one place that the red trucks did go, we took a Bolt or a Grab, I'm not sure which, but were the temples. And like I said, somebody I am sure does walk there, but they were winding roads and they were a bit of a piece. Though I will say the roads were good condition. And this is another thing, I meant to come back to this. Safety, I felt completely safe everywhere we went in terms of crime or anything like that. The people were super friendly. That was another thing that I heard about in Thailand, and I thought that also lived up to the hype. And I was going to say one other thing. We felt really safe. The people were friendly.
You were going to talk about the temples?
The temple. Oh, the roads were in good condition, and it was very clean. Like I didn't see any trash anywhere. Even if the sidewalks were a bit like they might have little baby potholes in the sidewalks. Speaking of watching where you're walking, sometimes there might be you're walking and there is a sidewalk, but
we really liked the temples. Our favorite was the Wat Phalat temple. If you do one temple in Chiang Mai, that would be the one.
Any other tourist thing when you're in Chiang Mai, we would strongly recommend the Wat Phalat temple.
It's not as crowded as it's the most famous one, the Wat Phra Doi Suthep. I'm sure I butchered that pronunciation.
Good job.
That's kind of maybe the biggest one, but we really like nature, and there was like kind of a park with the Wat Phalat temple, and it was so pretty. We went there twice on 2 separate days because we liked going there so much. We also went to this temple. It was a smaller temple, and it's just called the Silver Temple. Only men can enter the Silver Temple, but they also have another temple like right beside it that we went into that was very pretty as well. The Wat Phra Doi Suthep, again, butchering the pronunciation, it's a big temple, like it has the most stuff in it.
I wanted to come back to the Silver Temple for just a second. Even though you cannot enter inside the temple as a woman,
you can look into it.
The outside is amazing. Like it's made of silver and it's very, very intricate. I mean, there's a lot to see. I just didn't want to give the impression that if you can't go in.
No, most of the temples, if you don't want to go in, if you don't want to, if you're walking, you don't want to take your shoes off, you can kind of look in. That being said, the Wat Phra Doi Suthep.
We're going to call that one the Gold Temple.
The Gold Temple. It has a lot of gold in it.
Like a lot.
You want to go into the inside because it'll look like, oh, you can look in and see, but then there's a lot of stuff behind it. So.
But all of the temples were just absolutely stunning, though. Definitely the Wat Phalat. Again, the nature, the integration of the statues and the temple in this like serene natural setting was honestly one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my life.
Apparently, Chiang Mai is the spiritual capital of Thailand. It has the most temples.
I think there's over 200 temples, I heard.
Yeah, it's a lot.
There's a lot of temples. These were the ones we saw, and we thought they were all just fantastic. And there was also like at the Silver Temple, there was like a service going on, and so
they were singing there too, and that was nice.
I thought this was kind of funny. We saw some women in traditional dress, and I thought there was maybe a religious service associated with a wedding, but basically it was a place where you could rent the dress and take a picture. That was kind of fun too.
We didn't do that, but that did look fun.
It did look fun. There were malls, as we mentioned. We were at one point close to the Maya Mall, which is apparently the smallest mall in Chiang Mai, but it seemed pretty big to us.
It was a big mall to us.
If you do go to Chiang Mai, and probably a lot of other places in Thailand, I would guess, you might be worried, like, what if my phone charger breaks? Or, are they going to have the consumer conveniences I'm sort of used to? Would I be able to replace it? The answer is they're going to have everything you could think of and more. It was crazy. There was, so much in the way of shopping. Though we are in Malaysia right now.
I think it has even more shopping.
No, it has way more shopping.
It has the most shopping of anywhere we're Kuala Lumpur I've ever been to.
I'm like, okay.
I'm kind of overwhelmed by the shopping.
I thought that Thailand had a lot of shopping, but no, this is a lot of shopping. But that being said, seriously, if you're worried about traveling there, and like, what if I,
What if my phone charger breaks? They have everything you
yeah,
can
they
want.
have pretty much everything you could think of. If you
It was a
lose
little high. I think they have
Yes,
import tariffs
yes.
on some stuff, particularly from China. It was higher than I expected given the
Yeah.
affordability of like massages and food.
Yeah.
But they
And
definitely
so
have it.
And I will say, you know, and this is probably true for everywhere to an extent, though I'm not sure in the U.S. anywhere at this point anymore, but I think you can find bargains if you look around, like
Yeah.
not in the mall, but like they have independent sellers. Like
Yes,
I
at
got
the
this-
night markets.
The night markets, or even just out on the
Yeah.
streets and stuff. I bought a t-shirt that is supposed to be organic cotton, and I think maybe it is, and it was $3.
Yeah, so you
you
can find
get
affordable stuff.
But also, like, there was a Birkenstock store in the mall, and I took a gander at those because I kind of like Birkenstocks. Anyway, it was like $200 for a pair of Birkenstocks, and that's in U.S. dollars,
Yeah.
not Thai baht. This is interesting too. Speaking of the mall, and $200, I got Botox in the mall.
Yes.
And I thought it turned out really well. The people were super nice, very professional. In fact, it was really nice because I've gotten Botox, I don't know, several years now. And they don't normally do this, but they asked me if I wanted numbing cream, and I declined that just because I wasn't sure if it was probably the best for me or whatever. But they use like a cold compress, and they kind of numb the parts. And really, really positive experience, super professional, happy with the results. It was cheaper than the U.S., but not as cheap as, you know, I mean, anything ever as cheap as you would hope for. Probably not.
I was a little surprised how high it was.
Yeah.
And I don't get Botox.
Yeah. My bill was a little over $300,
Yeah.
and that is not that much. Honestly, to be totally honest, the last time I got it in the U.S., it was about the same price. But I also think they did a little more than I typically get.
They did
done.
more units for that same price.
So that's interesting too. But if you're, you know, interested in that kind of thing, I thought they did a great job, and I thought it was very clean, very professional, and I felt completely comfortable and safe in terms of like hygiene and that sort of thing. And that's another thing I was a little bit worried. Okay, let me be real. I think I was a little paranoid about getting food poisoning,
Yes.
or you cannot drink the water at all. Like I've been to countries where they're like, you shouldn't drink the water.
But
But
not
not
once
like,
you
do
can.
not drink the water.
We just use bottled water to brush our teeth with.
Yeah, and I think all of the hotels, we stayed at a hotel that was $30 a
No,
night.
they had complimentary
Yeah,
bottled
they
water
all
too.
supplied some complimentary bottled water. Now, if you're at an Airbnb, obviously you would probably need to buy your water. But the bottled water was also very affordable there, and we didn't get sick at all.
No.
In fact, I thought the food was really good,
Yeah.
and I didn't find it. I did rinse my toothbrush in the water a couple times, again on autopilot, but I just set it to the side, let it dry off, and that seemed fine. So yeah, we really, really liked it. The town I think has a population, at least the city, I think the metro area is probably a little bigger, but maybe 200,000. And it has a really relaxed vibe. Like
Yes.
I totally see why it's popular amongst the tourism crowd, for
No,
sure.
I do too.
Very relaxed vibe. Enjoyed
Yes,
it,
we would
and
completely recommend visiting there.
absolutely. And thank you so much for watching.
Thank you so much
I
for
hope
watching.
you're having a wonderful day. Bye.
Bye.